plays video games all day, and his wife is fed up.
Hey, what's up? Today we're going to be doing a VOD review for a gold Ana. His name is Vibe Checker, otherwise known as Safe Insurance on the Overwatch University subreddit. They said that they climbed all the way from bronze to 2300 one-tricking BAP. And now they've noticed they can't get past that SR playing him, so they're going to try to pick up Ana. So they wanted someone to go over their gameplay and any tips that could help. This is a victory, by the way. And on PC, I don't know if I said that. I did do a once-over, so I already have a couple ideas of what your issues and what your strong points are. I'm going to do a few full fights where I do the whole thing and commentate over while it's happening, and a couple of cuts where I just go over key moments and stuff. All right, so we're going to jump right into it. I'm going to skip ahead to when the first fight starts. Actually, wait, first I'll talk about the comp. Also, please mind me, I'm definitely going to mess up many times because he is red team and the enemy is blue, so that is going to mess me up a ton. But the majority of the game, they have Ryan Zarya on their team. Or, never mind, Ryan Ball, like I said, I already messed up. They have Ryan Ball on their team, and the enemy team has Ryan Zarya. They swap between Genji and Echo, but they do always have someone to apply pressure to our Ana player here. I don't remember if they keep the Brig or not. Other than that, that's pretty much the comp. I'll pause and tell you how Ana's going to fit into this comp. With this comp, with their DPS with Sombra and Junkrat, number one, you don't really have any nano targets with them, so keep that in mind. Also, you really don't have to think about them. They're both pretty, they keep to themselves, and they can usually keep their own cycle in terms of getting health and not dying. Maybe a shot to the Junkrat every now and then, but Sombra should be like Tracer, pretty reliant on health packs. Same with the Ball to an extent, so really your only focus should be Ryan, and you actually can play pretty unsafe, for lack of a better term, because you have that Brig who might be puppy dogging you or not. This is gold, so who knows what she's going to be up to. I do, but I'm not going to tell you. That's pretty much how your play style. They don't really have anyone to dive you besides the Genji. He can apply some pressure, but that Brig's going to prevent it. All you'll have to do really is watch out for flanking Moira's, hint for later on, and just ensure you respect the soldiers' high ground. All right, so now we're actually going to get to the first fight. I'll be right back. All right, so I'll talk about it while it's happening. I'm going to be looking away from the camera. Your Rat's up on high ground. Both tanks are keeping low ground. Taking pot shots is fine right now. You don't really know if they have a sniper or not, so I wouldn't be too aggressive. Their Ryan's hacked, so I want to save that nade for when this is happening. I'll pause this real quick. There's a lot happening. I'm not sure who's in VC. This is a replay, so I'm not sure who's talking or not. But if your Sombra's calling out that she's going to hack, or you know that you have the Sombra and she's going for Ryan, just from this point on, because you're not going to know from this point, you're in gold, I doubt she communicated it. But just keep in mind that your Sombra's going to be hacking their tank, so you can just save nade for when that happens. You don't even have to go for risky nades at all to save it. On top of that, I know you don't really see it in this clip, but later on, you tend to be really aggressive with your positioning, and that really would hurt you. I imagine hurts you quite a bit in your losses. This is a victory, so you don't really see this guy being punished as much as he should for it. But his positioning, I think, is going to be one of the key takeaways of this VOD. I think that's really all I have to talk about right now. They keep going. Your Brig's being really aggressive. She already used Shield Bash. He ends up having to focus their Brig a lot this game because she's really, really aggressive. I think you needed to save your Sombra there, which is good. You should call it that the soldier is flanking. Brick can health pack you, so you don't have to peek. He jumps. This is good. You actually had a lot of sleeps this game. You're pretty insane with them. So that is definitely one strong point of yours is your sleeps. Your team turns to help. I assume you called it out, so I'm glad that you have a mic and are calling things out if you do. So I think your first big mistake happens right up here. You're playing really aggressive with your positioning. Like, good sleep on the Zarya, but you know they have a Genji at this point. Like, he's already... No, he decided not to be on you. I'm going to pause it. You know they have the Genji, so you really should be saving it so you can assess how good the Genji is. And especially because I think your Brig is dead right now. I don't see her anywhere. I think your Brig is dead. So, number one, you should be saving that sleep. Number two, I really don't like that you're standing here. So, I've said this in other Ana VOD reviews before, so I'm going to make it really quick. When you're right up here, you see how far you have to turn to look at your Ryan? That's about, I would say, nearly 45 degrees. It's a pretty, not a huge turn, but it's certainly, if it can be remedied, why even do it? And plus, when you're up here, it's so easy for, Genji's already past you. He could easily be on you if he had better target prioritization. But yeah, you're up here. This Moira actually ends up sucking you a little bit. She doesn't really do anything. But what I want to see you, I would have wanted to see you right after payload got around. I would have wanted to see you rotate back into server room. That's what this area is called. I would have wanted to see you rotate back here. This way, if you want to heal the ball and the Ryan, you've got about a 2-degree angle you've got to move your cursor to heal them. And you just have a bird's eye view of the engagement. It just allows you to call stuff out, like, because right now, you're focused completely on your tanks, which is fine. I mean, it's kind of what you should be doing. But when you're back here, you could still be focused on those same tanks, but also say, hey, Genji on our Junkrat in the back, can somebody help him? Not that really there is anybody to help him right now, because your tanks are engaged, your Brig is dead, and your Sombra is probably like hard throwing off on coast or something. I don't know what she's up to. But just stuff like that, just really keep positioning in mind. That's your key takeaway, and I'll keep reiterating that point. But as far as what you're doing positively, that was a good sleep. It should have been saved, but mechanically, you're very good with your sleeps. I'll continue on just so we don't stay stuck in this one area. There's so much to talk about all the time. So, okay. And once this fight ends, we'll start skipping around a little bit. So you're engaging the Moira a little bit here instead of healing your Rhine. It's okay. If you were really okay, there it is again. If I wanted to see you engage someone, number one, I want to see you further back in that server room position because you'd be able to see this stuff. You would have seen the soldier getting that high ground sooner. And unfortunately, because of your DPS comp, controlling the soldier is kind of your priority, besides healing your team. Just because you have to think of, you are the only person on your team that wants to climb. Everybody else on your team loves gold, and they want to be in it and play in it every day. So if you want to climb, you need to hold yourself to a higher standard. So you should be healing your team and also, number one, calling out the soldier. But you have to realize with your DPS comp, calling out the soldier isn't going to do as much as actually engaging the soldier yourself. Because the ball isn't really taking engagements at the right time, so I don't actually know what he's up to right now. Let me take a look what the ball's up to. He's over here fighting the Zarya, which I think he's been frontlining the whole time. I don't think he's gone back to control this soldier. I mean, you're only one fight in anyways. Whoops, wrong Anna. All right, I'll let it continue on. But good sleep on the soldier, though. That was really, like I said, mechanically, you're really good with your sleeps. All right, okay, now your ball engages the soldier. Okay, so we're in between fights right now. I'm going to skip to the next big part, and we'll try to talk about some other stuff like Nano and whatnot, because your Nano usage is a little weird. Okay, so this is right before your next engagement. I didn't really have to skip very far. Their ball's almost dead. You just missed a sleep, so you don't have it. Which, you know, you go into the fight how you go into it. That would have been a pretty decent sleep on him, because you probably would have gotten the kill, so I'm not going to put any fault on it. And, you know, getting the ball dead is really good for you, because they now have 2 divers, and you have a Brig that doesn't really seem to want to puppy dog you all that much, from what I remember. But I do have a lot to talk about this next part. Alright, so you're really close to your Rhine. He gets a big pin. I really like the nade. That was smart. And you get shattered. They managed to not kill you here. Their 4 ball gets hacked, so he's gone. Your whole team is purple right now, and you are really far up, and their Moira is flanking.
Get back in the fight.
Okay, so I want to pause and talk about that. So, yeah, so right there, your positioning. What I would have been looking to do is you could hold back here just because you have this cover to go to, because that soldier loves the high ground so much. This would be a really good spot, because the ball has a lot of distance to cover to get to you and dive you. So does the Genji. And then the soldier, you can easily hit one of those nasty sleeps you're already hitting, but just make it way easier on yourself. And then you could also have called out that Moira. But if you really wanted to be aggressive, I suppose you could have gone up here, and you would have had access to the Mega. You know, that positioning's fine too. It just would have been a little harder for you to rotate there, because if I remember correctly, this is right where the Rhines were dueling. I just don't like you being that close, and that was why you were shattered, and really you should have died for that. If this were Plat or Diamond, you certainly would have died for that, let alone Masters or something like that. Not that Masters is a high rank, it's just where I am. But yeah, like I said, I still don't like your positioning. It could be a little further back right now. I'd be playing this angle, or plus if you had been playing this angle previously and then rotated that one next, soldier probably wouldn't be up there, he'd be dead. So yeah, I'd be playing this angle right now. I just want to keep telling you exactly where to play, so I don't want to just tell you, oh, play a different angle. I want to try to give you exact ones, so I'm not just talking out of my butt. Okay, so you Nano when you guys are up 1, which, you know, not a problem. Let me see how it goes into the fight and when you had Nano. Typically, I know we just went back and we shouldn't keep going back, but typically you either want to pre-plan your Nanos and do it early, so if you have a Genji, but you guys obviously don't. Really your only Nano targets are your tanks or Brig if she's really about to die and you don't think your tanks are going to flame you. So you're looking for a tank Nano, and I don't think your ball even has, yeah, he does have mines, he hasn't used them yet. So you should be coordinating with your Ryan. Like, right now, you should have coordinated with him, like, hey, I'm going to nano you. If you see him getting that big charge, nano him, because that guarantees the Ryan kill. So he would have killed that other Ryan, and you wouldn't have gotten shattered, and you would have definitely have won this fight. But instead, the fight continues, blah, blah, blah. We've seen this before. And you guys end up winning this fight, I believe. The ball mines, you guys use, I think, every single one of your ults. Yeah, you're in the process of rally, so all you have is... Now all you have is Tire. And EMP. Okay, you guys have been holding for a long time. Okay, you're down a Brig. Like I said, she's playing really aggressive. She's not helping you at all. So you want to be using those sleeps conservatively. Like, you should have had it for this ball. As I said, you're mechanically very good with them. You just don't really know when to use them. And, yeah. You don't see the Genji, but he dies. So, you know, it is what it is. Your Sombra EMPs, you guys weren't really in a position to utilize that, so not really anything you can do about that. Your Ryan tried. They're balls, and this would be a good time to sleep. I get why you tried to sleep the Soldier. I don't know. I might have gone for that sleep, but it would have been better to have held it for the ball. But, you know, hindsight is 20/20. All right, that's the end of round one. I really like this positioning right now. I would have liked you up a little further, but this is mainly because you're walking from spawn. All right, on to round two. So I'm going to pause real quick and talk about comps. So they did swap to the Echo. She's basically Genji on roids, so she's harder to deal with. She's just basically the best DPS in the game, even after her nerfs. You still have the Brig, the Ryan. I'm looking at the enemy team again. You still have the Ryan and the ball. And you have Hanzo and Sombra. This still doesn't change your nano priority, really. But now you have to contend with their Echo, whose name is Reaper, and the Reaper whose name is Oscar, which is interesting. So that was a cool tidbit. But yeah, so be on the lookout. So this Echo, I don't remember how she plays, but this Reaper tends to do a lot of flanking. We'll talk about that when we talk about it. So I'm going to let this fight play out. So you don't know that they don't have snipers yet. They could have swapped, and you fall off here. This is a really bad spot to be in. You immediately use your sleep. Really should be holding that for comp swaps. And I think I don't remember if they had a ball, but you really should be holding that because you knew they had the Genji before. You could be targeting this Echo. You don't really need to be topping your team off. And then actually, I noticed this in my first watch. The Reaper's footsteps were really loud. No one called him out. He seemed like a surprise to your team. So just be listening for that kind of stuff. Just a little thing. Another time you just used your sleep. Stop doing that. Especially because you knew they had the Genji. You know they have the Echo. You have people to be saving sleep for. Stop just pumping and dumping it. You're not a hedge fund guy. This is not GameStop stock. You want to save it just because you could be getting dove. Your Brig's not really helping you all that much as far as I've seen. And they're just better off to, like, right now, if you just swap their Ryan, your Ryan has gotten himself into an engagement he should not be in. Your ball cannot go help. Your ball could go in and get them turned on him, but this is gold, so that's probably not going to happen. Your Ryan is, I don't remember if he dies, but coming from a viewpoint of not knowing, he should die for this. You should support him a little bit, but I would get out of this position because the Echo can easily get on you. This is not a good spot to be in. And the Ana almost kills you. Luckily, your Sombra was there. Okay, so yeah, you should be backing. You don't really need to engage this Reaper right now. Nothing valuable comes of that engagement. Yeah, you guys are down your Ryan as expected. You purpled the Brig, so I like that you're focusing her. No one really needs to be healed right now. Dueling Reaper, once he gets close to you, it's difficult if you miss your sleep. I get it. You get flustered. Try to just save sleep as much as possible. Try to bait. If you punch, the animation kind of looks like a sleep, and Reapers are pretty quick to Wraith. So just try to punch, maybe get him to use that Wraith, but a difficult engagement, so I won't harp on this too much. And you do die, and they pretty much have won this fight. You guys have a Soldier now instead of the Hanzo. So he's actually a pretty good nano target, especially in this elo, because if he has high ground with nano visor, you guys have pretty much won the fight, seeing as long as he can hold down the left click. Let's skip ahead. Alright, so you guys are fully engaged already. I like that you naded your Ryan to heal him up. That was smart. You're not only looking for purples. And I didn't talk about this before, but your purple usage, or your nade usage has been pretty decent. I like that you've been prioritizing purples over heals, especially with this meta that is so damage focused. Not that either comps are playing meta, but that's cool, so whatever. Like I said, you're burning sleep again. It's okay, I guess. Could have used it right there. This just keeps coming back to bite you, and I know hindsight is 20/20, but it's smart to be conservative with your sleeps, especially when the Brig just really isn't helping you that much.
My team.
And you guys lose that fight, and you actually get pretty unlucky here. I'll let it run. Yeah, they end up killing you? Nope, they don't kill you. Okay. Okay. Alright, so at this point, you're looking for a nano target. You should be telling your team, hey, we just play corners right now. Your Rhine shield's obviously broken. So just play corners right now and look for a nano. You have Rhinal and nearly Soldieril. I would probably just be looking for a Rhine nano at this point. So just let your Rhine wait till the next engagement. You guys just rallied. I hope you're calling out this Reaper. Right, you missed sleep, that's fine. I know why you were going for it, that's a good sleep. But we see right now, their DPS have successfully managed to separate you and... Who's over here with you? Nobody. I thought somebody was. It's your soldier to an extent. Well, they managed to at least separate you from your entire team just by walking around, basically. This is in third person. There we go. Yeah, let me talk about that. So they managed to successfully separate your team. So you really, what you wanted to do is, if you didn't hit that sleep, you either need to tell your Rhine to hold off before the engagement, or you need to nano him in if he's hellbent on going in, as most gold Reinhardts are. Yeah, the whole reason you lost that fight is because their team, they probably didn't realize it, but it happened to happen. They grabbed while you were separated from them, and it just is an easy W there. That's exactly why you lost that fight. And then I think you guys just die here, the Reaper dies, doesn't really matter. Your ball makes it out. Your ball has not been very helpful as far as I've seen. Not that I've been paying attention, so he might have been doing a ton. Okay, I'm going to skip to the next important part. Alright, I'm going to continue from this point on. Your ball just, he just keeps going in and not really doing much. Maybe what you could do is you could nano him to get him to do positive reinforcement was the word I was looking for there. So when he pop PDs properly, so the role of ball, if you don't really understand what ball is supposed to do, his tanking ability comes from his ability to get the team turned on him and just draw aggro and deal damage and possibly kill supports while doing that. So what he wants to be doing is right before your Rhine engages, he wants to be in position to, he has mines. So what he wants to do is right before your Rhine engages, he wants to get above them or charge through them and just sow some discord and get up, mine, and pile drive down, get them in the air with mine so that your Rhine has an opening to swing and your whole team can just fire in while they're completely clustered or futzed, or, they're all freaking out, looking around, going, what's going on? Where's the ball? That's his role. So you could look to positively reinforce that and just nano him when he looks to be doing something smart. So if it's like your last fight where he's PDing in at the end of the fight when everybody's dead, don't nano him. But if it's at the right time, he's engaging when he should be, you can positively nano that to get him to do the right thing. Or you can tell him, like, hey, ball, if you go in there and get them turned on you so our Rhine can swing, I'll nano you. Just a thought. Or you can keep nanoing the Rhine. That doesn't really matter. Alright. So, yeah, that was actually, would have been a good engagement had, your Rhine been 5 seconds closer. But they're basically able to turn on these mines and be ready for the next fight by the time your team's ready to engage. So, but this is an Nano review, not a VOD, not a ball VOD review. All right. So yeah, you guys are poking, but not really. You're not. You guys are close enough. They don't need to be poking, but you are. This Rhine, you guys could be calling to get on him. He has no support from his team. He's now been nanoed. You guys want to give him space. And like I said before, I think your big problem is with positioning. The moment, but even before it, honestly, but the moment you heard that Nano go off, you should have already rotated back here. You should be back here at the very least. You should be over here, because it still gives you somewhat of a shot on the enemies, but it keeps you away from that Rhine, number one, because he doesn't have Shatter, but as far as you know, he could have Shatter, and he could get you as he did before. You just want to be outside of his range. There's no point for you being up that close. There's just absolutely no point. But we'll continue. I like that you just didn't immediately nano because your Rhine couldn't really do anything with it. So now your Rhine has the nano while theirs doesn't. I like that nano. That was pretty decent. You guys have won the fight as a consequence of that nano. You might have still won anyways, but I like it. I think you thought the Reaper was behind you. I don't actually know where he was. I think he's top left. Nope, he's just gone. But okay, I'll continue the next fight. All right, so you guys are waiting, and you guys are a brawl comp. This is fine. You're still too close. Hate that you're this close. You're so lucky you didn't get shattered there. That's fine, though. You barrage. You get the Ryan easy. You set the Lucio. Like I said, you're good mechanically. Didn't need that sleep, but, you know, you're very good at hitting these sleeps. If you just used them at the right times, they would be much more consequential in terms of how the game goes for you. Okay. So, yeah, you're just sobbing off the ball. You really, really do not need to be this close. There's no point to being this close. One other thing that I have not talked about yet that just came to my head is I've never seen you quickscope. You've only shot from the hip and shot in the scope. Quickscoping is a really good skill, especially when you have soldiers up on high ground like you've seen before. Pause for this, I'm sorry. Or perfectly, just like this. When, you know, this Reaper is moving and he has high ground, so it's really hard for you to hit a non-hit scan projectile, meaning it takes a moment to get there. And you don't want to go into your scope because then you can't see what's happening with your team. You know, I mean, you shouldn't be this close up, so you should, but you know, we're past that right now. If you do want to learn how to quickscope, it is an essential skill for Ana. Essential, absolutely. I know you said you only played BAP before, so I don't fault you for not knowing how to quickscope. But it's a very important skill for when you're in that in-between area where you're far enough that you can't aim in, but you're close enough, or you know, you need to see the fight, so you don't want to scope in. Check out my quickscoping video. I'm gonna try to link it down there. I hope you're able to click on it. You should definitely take a look at that, or anybody else that isn't quickscoping with Ana. That's my only plug, I swear. Let's continue on. See, at this point, you did not hit the Reaper, so you should be back. Okay. Okay. Whatever. Do you guys have the Pharaoh? Yeah, you guys have the Pharaoh. That's an interesting swap. But, I mean, they have no hit scan, so it is what it is, I suppose. I'm going to swap to the next interesting part. Okay, so it basically happened right in front of me. Let me go back to that. You guys got grabbed. Let's talk about this. So when they have grav, really all you want to be doing right now, you do not want to be shooting this Moira. Just pocket your tank. I would like to see you in a different position, but I will not talk about that right now. I've already spoken about that a million times. But really what you want to do, I'm sure their Rhine will shatter. So what you want, I've said what you want to do a million times. You're going to want to sleep the Rhine when he charges. It's going to happen. The Zarya might bubble it. That happens. I'm not telling you you're going to do everything. But save the sleep for that. And save your nade for potentially when there's a brawl happening in the grav, so you can get a purple and a yellow. Or at the very least to yellow your Rhine. Alright, so he slept. He slept a little too late. Just a little too slow. And your Rhine did die as a consequence. But, you know, he was grabbed. I don't expect you to do everything. But, you know, we are doing a VOD for you, so I'm going to pick tiny things like that. So you have Nano now. You're probably going to want to save it. Unless you see some crazy opening. Your soldier almost has ult, so I'd be telling him, hey, soldier, get high ground like a Nano visor. We can Nano visor. Alright, so I'm just going to let this play out. I won't skip ahead. You guys are almost in brawl range. This Reaper should die. He's out with no Wraith. You guys should be looking for an engage right now. Don't want to burn Nano that early. That was a lucky shatter. If he wouldn't have hit that shatter, really, they probably could have just walked back and let it happen. If you knew you were going to Nano, you should have just waited on the nade. Okay, that was a pretty good nade on the Zarya. I like that. Okay. But yeah, just think things through a little more. Just try to think through your cooldown usage before the fight happens. Like, if you know you're going to Nano, just hold that nade until, you know, they're really brawling. Like, Ryan's not going to put his shield up when he's getting swung at by a Nano Ryan. Or he might, but your nade, adding your nade to that equation is going to make it that much harder. Alright, so let's talk about that. That was really dumb. I can't believe you survived it, but it was also really dumb. If you were in a proper position, you wouldn't have had to deal with this at all. And this positioning is okay right now. You should still be way further behind your team. No general chat's going off, but you should still be further back. Yeah, you should not be inside your other tank. Alright, I don't know where your nade went, but I like the idea. You guys are 1-1. You should not be almost past Rhine Shield. I cannot say this enough. I hate this positioning. You have good mechanics. You have pretty good aim for being in gold and for not quickscoping. All right, this is good. I like the focus on the diva. Good nade. You saw that her DM was down. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you knew the cooldown was up and how much she had used it. Pharah's targeting you. This is where you want to quickscope. Are Pharah's like this? All right, so your Ryan's kind of alone. I'm fine with that, Nano. See, if you were further back, I think you should have been shattered. I don't know how you weren't shattered. I assume it's something to do with that slope. But if you were further back, you wouldn't have to deal with potentially getting shattered ever. You should, as Anna, basically never be in risk of being shattered. Alright, this is a nade, whatever. You see that the div is low. I like that you're prioritizing her when your team's all pretty high HP. Okay. It's basically going to take you to the end of the game. So I'll see if there's anything interesting, and I'll skip to it. Alright, that was it. There was one more fight, but I didn't see anything worth talking about. You played it well. You guys managed to not die after getting EMP'd. So, let me swap to the full face cam. I'll talk about your key takeaways. Okay, so your key takeaways from this VOD. I like to start with positive first and then go to negative. So first off, your aim is pretty good. You don't just fire shots off randomly. They generally have a purpose. I like your prioritization generally of enemy targets. You're not just topping off your tanks all the time, which is a problem low elo Annas seem to have quite a bit. So I like that. And I think you said at the end you had 6k damage, so that's pretty good. Besides that, you hit some good purples. That was a positive. That's all I can think about off the top of my head. I'll be sure to say any more if I remember them. Next up, we'll do negatives. Number one, this is the biggest thing. If you work on this, I would guarantee you at least get to diamond, just based off your aim and what else you're doing, your positioning. If you just start putting some more thought before fights break out while you're in poke phase about where you should stand and how advantageous it is to what's happening, that will bring you up. So what I'm going to link you to, I know I promised I wouldn't do another self-promotion, but I'm not, I'll point to, I like doing that stuff. If you click on my face, I don't really have anywhere else to click on my face, that'll be the first part of my Anna guide, which is all about positioning, I think. I'll link to the one that is about positioning. But it kind of teaches you a little bit about where you want to stand. I'll tell you a little bit right now. You just want to be in the spot that gives you the best risk in to value out ratio. So if there's a spot that has very little risk and gives you a ton of value, where you're standing far back so no one can hit you, but you're at an angle where you can hit enemies and your team, that's a perfect spot. It's all about the risk versus reward ratio. So yeah, like I said, check that out. That's all I'll go into with that. But your positioning is your biggest aspect that you need to work on. And when you work on that, that is where you will see your biggest return. Second off would be, I don't know, a lot of it just ties into positioning. I am having a hard time. Your ability usage, your nades were pretty decent. A lot of them, or some of them were certainly used on cooldown. So put some more thought into the nades. I like how you're using them. Just continue using them how you're using them when you're using them correctly. I hope that made sense. As far as the sleeps, stop using those on cooldown. Stop it, stop it, stop it. Unless you are in a game where you are in no danger of ever being attacked, if they have the weakest DPS, if they have Soldier and Symmetra that never uses their teleporter, and they have Sigma Orisa, and their supports are, no, Mercy has her Glock. Their supports are BAP and Zen. You should not be using sleep how you're using it. Just because when you're in the lower elos, you being alive when you want to climb is the most important thing as a support. So in order to make sure you do not die, you want to save your sleep for when somebody engages with you. So for when that Genji tries to jump on you, or when the Echo is trying to beam you down, that is what you should be using sleep for. If you do not, you need to use it for those things. If you're not being dove, if you notice that trend happening, that is when you start to more gravitate towards using it on charging Reinhardts, or, you know, characters that are out of position, or characters that have their attention on something else. That is when you start doing that. Do not swap those around until you start getting to the point where you're a gamer god and you can make those decisions on your own. But yes, work on those two things. I'll see if I can think of one more. Lastly is quickscoping. Please learn how to quickscope. If you want to keep playing Anna, it's a very, very good skill to have in your toolkit. I can't think of anyone in the higher levels that is not constantly quickscoping. It's really great for hitting targets that are way up in the air you don't want to stay in the scope for, but you need a hit scan projectile, meaning it needs to get to them instantly, like a Pharah or an Echo. Essential skill for stuff like that, or if you have one of your DPSs up on high ground and flanking, you just want to heal them real quick. Something like that. Other than that, I think you play well. I would be really interested to see a loss. I would make the assumption that it's probably going to be attributed to your positioning. That is consistently what is causing you to die. But once you work on that, you're going to do really well. Like I said, your mechanics are good. And I think mechanics are the harder of the two to learn, because it requires a lot more concentrated effort to constantly be on grinding, versus all you have to do is just put a little thought in poke phase to see, where should I go? How should I burn my cooldowns this fight? What's the plan? So start planning more stuff out. I didn't talk on that very much because it's a replay, so I can't tell what's happening in the voice chat. Otherwise, thank you very much. Really appreciate you giving me this VOD. And then otherwise, for everyone else, I I've been playing tank a lot recently, so I might do some tank VOD reviews or continue playing tank and see where I can climb to, because I've been doing really well. Unfortunately, I got placed low because of how I used to play tank during season 12 and 13 way back when, so I got to climb up. But if you have any tank VOD reviews or any interest in hearing about tanks or any other supports that you feel I haven't covered very much, let me know in the comments. Otherwise, thank you very much.